This video is one of the projects we created for a law firm client. It was designed to present their legal services professionally and build trust with potential clients.
Imagine being trapped in a place where the people meant to protect you become your abusers. This was the reality for Nilda Palacios in June 2016 at the Central California Women's Facility, the state's largest women's prison. Her cellmate had turned violent, and despite repeated requests for a transfer, the officers refused to help. Her last hope was Tony Ormond, a sergeant in charge of the yard who promised to move her bed, but that promise came with a horrifying price. Once the transfer was arranged, Ormond began summoning Nilda to his office and other private locations, where the harassment escalated into repeated sexual assault in prison, a nightmare no one should ever face. I'd cry and ask why I put myself in this situation. I'd leave with disgust and feel used, and I'd hate that I didn't have the choice to say no, she recalled. Even after leaving prison, the abuse continued through phone calls and explicit messages, showing that the trauma did not end at the gates. Her story is a stark reminder of how serious prison sexual assault against women can be, and how survivors are often ignored or dismissed. Have you ever wondered how many women in prison have already faced trauma before even entering? Research shows that up to 78% of incarcerated women report prior sexual abuse, meaning that life behind bars can often reopen old wounds and make surviving the environment even more challenging. For someone like Nilda, this combination of past trauma and abuse in prison created a nightmare that felt impossible to escape. This is why sexual assault in prison against women remains such a pervasive and urgent issue. Reporting the abuse did not immediately bring justice. Prison investigators initially dismissed Nilda's claims. It took 4 years, recordings of Ormond's calls, and a state investigation before her allegations were officially recognized. Ormond resigned during the investigation but never faced criminal charges. Sadly, her experience is far from unique. Across California and the United States, prison sexual assault against women remains a persistent problem. Between 2021 and 2022, the California Department of Corrections and Rehabilitation logged over 1,400 complaints of staff sexual misconduct, highlighting the urgent need for preventing sexual assault in prison. Did you know that many women in prison stay silent about sexual abuse because they fear retaliation? Reporting can label them a snitch, which can put them at even greater risk behind bars. This fear often traps survivors in silence, leaving them to endure trauma alone while the system protects the perpetrators. Statistics reveal how widespread the issue is. Between 2016 and 2018, U.S. prisons reported 2,666 substantiated incidents of inmate-on-inmate sexual victimization and 2,229 incidents involving staff abusing their authority. Most inmate-on-inmate cases involved abusive sexual contact, while nearly 69% of staff-on-inmate incidents were classified as staff sexual misconduct. The numbers are staggering, but behind every statistic is a woman like Nilda, facing unimaginable risks every day. This shows the ongoing sexual violence in prisons that so many women confront. Yet some survivors find the courage to speak out, showing resilience and the need for systemic change. In 2025, former correctional officer Gregory Rodriguez was convicted on 59 felony counts of sexual abuse and 5 misdemeanor counts of sexual battery for assaulting multiple incarcerated women. The resulting lawsuit, involving numerous plaintiffs, ended in a $3.7 million compensation settlement, offering some measure of relief and accountability to survivors of prison sexual assault against women. Prison sexual assault against women demands more than policy change. It requires listening to survivors, holding perpetrators accountable, and creating a system where women can feel safe. Support from a prison sexual assault lawyer can help survivors reclaim their lives and seek justice. Every story like Nilda's reminds us that change is possible, but only if society refuses to ignore the ongoing crisis of abuse behind prison walls. Visit RosenfeldInjuryLaw.com for more information and free case review.